A lot of us actually make a very big mistake by thinking that we can actually be rich, we can actually be wealthy when we actually store a lot of money in our bank account. You see, this idea, this concept is actually very, very wrong. And that is why in this video, I am going to prove to you that if you actually want to build wealth, what I call real wealth, it is not by storing your bank account with a lot of money, irrespective of the gargantuan or big amount of money you actually put in your bank account. It cannot guarantee you wealth, because at the end of the day, that money you actually think that is surplus, that you actually think that is much, that you actually think that is gargantuan, will lose value over time. You see, one of the shortcomings of money is its ability to lose value, most especially when the money is not actually put into operation to generate more money. And that is the reason why you need to put your money into operation. You need to make your money to work for you. You need to make your money to grow in value. And the best thing for you to do to actually make your money to actually grow in value and create more money and work for you is actually when you put that money into operation. And by putting that money into operation, we're simply saying that you're actually investing your money. Because if you look into record of those that are actually wealthy today in our society, most especially in capitalist oriented free economic system, you are going to realize one thing which they all have in common. You will realize that most of them are actually investors and most of them are actually entrepreneurs. Now, we are not saying that being an employee you cannot make wealth or become rich. That is not what we're saying. But we are trying to educate ourselves that if you actually want to be rich as an employee, there are some certain steps, some critical steps that you need to take that can actually make you to be very, very wealthy. And that is why this video is going to benefit you. At the end of the day, you are going to learn a lot of things by watching this video to the very, very end. Now, you see, when I say that storing money in your bank account cannot actually guarantee you wealth, is because of what I call inflation. In fact, every part of the world now is actually experiencing inflation, including Nigeria, which is not an exemption. You see, inflation sometimes can be a blessing, and sometimes too, it can actually be a cost. But if you know the market dynamics and how the economic system actually work, then you will know that in this economic trend, a lot of people are actually becoming millionaires and billionaires. Now the question is, do you want to be a billionaire and a millionaire? Then you need to watch this video from the beginning to the end. You may actually feel that you are rich. You may actually feel that you are wealthy because you actually put a lot of money in your bank account. But unfortunately, your money is going to lose value over time because of inflation. If you want more of that topic, I have videos on that topic in my previous videos. Because let me quickly, for the benefit of those that have not been able to watch this video, how does inflation affect money? You see, in the period of inflation, money loses value. And when money loses value, it means that even if you have billions of naira in your bank account and that money is not put into operation, by the time you take a little amount of money in that bank account, you realize that money might not be able to buy anything for you in this period. And that is why we always say that for you or for your money not to lose value in a period of inflation, you need to invest your money and make your money to work for you. Because money is a spirit, and money loves those that are actually investors, or money loves those that actually sends money on a message or money love, those that actually knows how to use money, because money is actually a spirit and it doesn't like to be stagnant or to be put into one place. So putting your money into one place and not making the money to work for you is actually a wrong perception. You see, when we're talking about wealth, when we're talking about riches, when we're talking about being wealthy, the true definition of wealth is your ability to pay for all your expenses even when you are not working. So when you are not working, your money is actually working for you. When you are not doing anything at all and you are sleeping, your money is working for you. And that is why for those that are actually investors, they make money even when they are not working. And that is the foundation of wealth creation. And what is that thing that's actually working for you here? It is actually your investment. It's actually your money working for you. It's actually your money growing for you. It is actually your money doing your duty or doing your work on your behalf, because you are actually sending the money on an errand and the money is answering to your errands. That is, you are making more money every day, even when you are sleeping, even when you are not working, even when you are not doing anything. And that is the foundation of what I call investment. When we talk about true wealth is built when you are able to build a consistent flow of income to cover your expenses over a period of years. And that's where we are talking about a decade of sacrifices. We are talking about decade of consistency and commitment to the cost on ground. That is, when you are actually building wealth here, you are actually consistently building it over time. You see, the beauty of it is that at the beginning it might look small, at the beginning it might look very minute, at the beginning it might look, like a midget, at the beginning it might look like nothing. But if you are consistent, if you are determined, if you are proactive, if you are active, if you are consistently building it over time, your money is going to compound for you. And at that point in time, your money will begin to work for you, your money will begin to grow for you, and your money will begin to compound and make more money for you. And that is why we say that even when you are not working, your money is actually working for you. That is the secret. That is what we're talking about wealth creation. You see, for a lot of people, this might be impossible. This might be, utopia. This might be a mirage. This might be a big, opulent task. This might be something that might look impossible. But if you actually try it over a period of time, you're going to see that it's going to be possible. So, wealth creation, building wealth, becoming wealthy, becoming rich is actually a decade of sacrifice and commitment, consistency, pragmaticness, and proactiveness and continuity. Over time, you are going to be wealthy. Now, in this topic, I am going to be talking about the steps to building a real wealth. That is, if you actually want to become rich, if you actually want to become wealthy, if you actually want to become superfluous, if you actually want to sit among the kings and the queens in the society, there are some certain steps or certain things that you can actually do that can help you or garner you or catapult you to making a real wealth. So let us now quickly look at the steps to building a real wealth. Now, the first step to building real wealth is actually getting an income. Now, for you to build real wealth, you need to start working. That is the basic foundation to wealth creation. You need to have a job, you need to have something doing, you need to have something that will actually be generating income, that will actually be generating money for you. Something that at the end of every month, you get something in return for the services you have actually rendered in your company. So what we're saying here, that the first foundation or the first step to bring to building real wealth is that you need to get an income. What we're saying here is that you need to get a job doing, and at the end of every month, you are actually paid a salary. or you need to employ yourself. If you are not an employee, you have something that you are actually doing and it is actually getting money for you at the end of every month or at the end of every particular period of time. So you get paid. So the first step to making real wealth is that you need to get an income, and getting an income entails that you need to get a job doing. It is when you actually get a job doing and you're actually rendering the services that you get paid at the end of the day. Apart from the fact that you are actually working and you are getting paid every month, for the services you have actually been rendering to your company in form of a reward, you can also achieve this through what I call a profit made by the company as the owner of the company. Now, what we're saying here is that you can actually be an employee or you can be an employer. Being an employee simply means that every month you get paid for your services. And the second one is that you can achieve a true profit made by the company. That is, in this situation or in these circumstances, you have a company of your own and your company is actually making profit. And the profit that is made by the company is actually your profit after paying your workers, after paying for miscellaneous and some other things at the end of every financial month. The remaining part of the money is actually your profit because you are actually the owner of the company. So the first step to making real wealth is that you can either be an employer or be an employee. So as an employer, you are actually the owner of the company and every profit made by the company actually belongs to you. And if you are actually an employee, you get paid at the end of every month. So these are the first steps you need to take that can actually help you to make what I call a real wealth. Very, very simple. Get a job as an employee or as an employer. That's the first step. The second step to making real wealth or building real wealth or building real gargantuan riches or becoming wealthy or surplus or becoming very rich is that you need to get what I call a profit. You need to get what I call a profit. So the second step to building real wealth is through getting a profit. Now, what do I mean by getting a profit? You see, there are two ways through which you can actually get a profit, either by number one, buying it or building it. Now, what do I mean by buying it? Buying it simply means that you are actually working in a place, you actually gotten a job that you are doing. Now, at that point in time, when you get paid at every particular period of time, you are actually investing your money into something. You're actually investing your money into something. Now, at the end of every month, you get paid a salary, and now in this situation, your money is divided into savings, into spending, and into investment. Now, you are actually being paid at the end of every financial month. Now, what we're saying here is that the second step you can actually use to build that real wealth is that you can actually buy it. So when you say someone is actually buying it, it means that at every financial month or at every end of every month that you get paid, you actually invest some part of that money into portfolio investment. That is, you are not spending all that money, you are saving part of that money, and you are also, investing part of that money. So, what I'm talking about here is that you invest by buying ownership in a particular company, either as a share or maybe as a share of stocks, or you are investing into mutual funds or ETFs or index funds or S&P 500 or any other form of businesses that is going to generate you what I call passive forms of income or passive income. So here you are actually investing into a business and you get paid at the end of every financial period. So once you get paid at the end of every month, you can buy it. And what we're saying here is that by buying it, you are actually investing in the company, and by investing in the company, you are making profit at the end of the day. The second one is what I call by building it. By building it. Most people ask, what do you mean by building it, by buying it? I've explained the meaning of what, or buying it. Now, what do I mean by what? By building it? You see, by building it simply means that in this situation or this condition, you actually, work to start a business. For example, a startup business, and in that situation, you are actually starting from the scratch. You are starting from the scratch. You are starting from the foundational level. So here you work to build the business. You see, you actually work to build the business. You build the business from the scratch, and by building the business from the scratch, every profit made from that business, the profit actually belongs to you. In this situation, you are actually the one that actually created the business. You established the business. So in this situation or condition, you are buying it, because every profit, every surplus made in that company actually belongs to you. So you can build it or you can buy it. So that's the second step to making what I call the real wealth. Now, the third step is what I'm going to talk about now. The third step is that you are actually buying the profit. Now, what do I mean by buying the profit? Buying the profit means that you need to own the asset that is generating profit. You see, buying the profit means, I'll repeat again, that you need to own the asset that is actually generating the profit. Here, you need to know how to actually invest your money, and that's why financial education is very critical, is very important in this segment, because when you have financial education, you'll be able to know where you can actually invest your money and make what I call a compound profit at the end of the day, compared to someone that is still a novice in the area of wealth creation. So the third step to building real wealth is that you need to buy the profit, and by buying the profit, it means that you need to know the kinds of companies that can actually invest your money and make profit at the end of the day. In this situation, you get paid even when you are not working. Can you see the differences there? You are getting paid even when you are not working. Why? Your money is actually working for you. So you can create a passive streams of income, or what I call multiple streams of income, or what I call other source of means through which you can actually be able to make money for yourself at the end of the day. If you're talking about, buying the profit, there are so many ways through which you can actually invest in making money. I've discussed a lot of this method, this medium, these perspectives, or this channel through which you can actually be buying the profit, through which you can actually be making money. For example, you can invest your money into the stock market. There are so many stocks you can buy in the stock exchange market. You can buy, so many of them. There are so many companies that are actually quoted on the stock exchange market in Nigeria and on other parts of the world. Now, for example, some people will say that I can't invest in America. Invest in American economy now is very, very easy because of globalization, because of what? Because of interconnectivity, or because of the interdependence of what? Of nations, because of international relations, international trade, and the rest of them. So investing in Nigeria, even when you are not, in Nigeria, or investing in America, even when you are not in US, is not a possibility. It's no longer a utopia or a mirage. Even when you are in Nigeria, you can invest in companies in the United States. There are so many companies you can actually invest in the United States. You have Vanguard, you have Facebook, you have Alibaba, you have Microsoft, you have Tesla. There are so many of them. You have Nvidia. You have so many of them that can actually invest your money even when you are not a day. And there are some companies in Nigeria that are doing this. We have Shaka, we have Bamboo, we have Trove, and so many of them that you can actually invest your money even when you are not there, and you are making passive or multiple streams of income. So making money is easy now because of what? because of globalization. Now, what we're saying is that you can actually invest in stocks, you can actually invest in the mutual funds, like what I'm doing. I'm into mutual funds where I actually make 23.5% interest or compound interest on every financial year. Now, what we're saying here is that if you actually invested like maybe 1 million naira in a year, you're able to raise like 1 million naira in a year. At the end of every financial year, you are going to be given like 240,000 naira as a compounded interest. Now, tell me something. If your money is actually in the bank will not pay you in time. The bank will rather use your money to make more money for themselves. While at the end of the day, the bank will still charge you for keeping your money in the bank. So this is 2024. Now we're going to 2025. You need to be very wise, you need to be very smart, and you need to be very intelligent. You need financial education in your life. So what we're saying here is you can invest in stock exchange, you can invest in stock market, you can invest in ETFs, that is exchange trust fund, you can invest in mutual funds, you can invest in index funds, and so many other. You can even invest in rental estate, you can invest in so many things, and you are making money every day. If you want more of that video, you can see that video in my subsequent my previous videos are actually uploaded on my channel about how to actually invest in so many of these companies, and you can be making money every day for yourself. The beauty of this, or what I can call a secret, is that this is the game that wealthy people are playing every day to create wealth for themselves. Even when they are sleeping in the middle of the night, their money is working for them. Even when they are not working, their money is working for them. Even when they are not doing anything at all, their money is working for them because they are making money every day for themselves. And that is what distinguishes the elite from the average man on the street, that is the lower class and the middle class. Because one distinctive thing about both of them, the lower class and the middle class, is that when the lower class makes money, it spends the money immediately. There is no investment, there is no savings. Then for the middle class, once he earns the money, he uses that money to improve on his credit scores so they can have access to more credit facilities. And the more credit facilities he gets, the more is making somebody out there to be very, very, very rich. So a lot of us that belongs to the middle class and the lower class are making other people rich every day. Every day. Why? For the rich understand, the wealthy people understand that once he makes the money, he needs to make that money to have a multiplier effect. He needs to make that money to compound, to make more money for him. But unfortunately for the middle class and the lower class, once they get this money, the money is not productive, the money is not working, but rather the money is stagnant. Because in most cases, most of them put this money into bank accounts and they begin to have this, dream of becoming rich. They begin to have this, dream of becoming rich by thinking that when they put the money into a savings account, they are actually making money for themselves. But rather, the money is stagnant, the money is creating dust, the money is not working, but rather, the money is just right there. And those that knows the intrigue, the intricacies, the dynamics of money, and the secret of money, they will take that money and use that money to make more money for themselves. And at the end of the day, the same man that puts the money into the bank account does not make any money. And unfortunately, also, by the time inflation comes again, that money is not going to have any value again. Because irrespective of what you put into your bank account, and you're thinking that you have actually made money or you are going to be rich, that money is going to be eaten up by inflation. Now, let's imagine, let me give you this scenario so that I can be able to understand or see the picture of what I'm talking about very, very well. Now, let's imagine that you have 1 million naira in your bank account, and you are thinking that you have actually arrived, or you have actually made it, or you have actually become so rich and so wealthy. Because once you clock that 1 million benchmark, you are no longer a thousandaire again. You are now a millionaire. Not a millionaire, but a millionaire because you have crossed the benchmark of thousands. Now you are now becoming what? You have now made what I call million. So you are now a millionaire. Now imagine this scenario in this present economic system that maybe for example something happens or you decided to pay yourself for a particular period of time. Let's imagine that after so many years that you have actually been working, you have actually been able to save like 1 million in your bank account. Now, let's imagine the scenario that you are not paying yourself every month. In this present economic draconian system, because it's a suicidal economic system. Let me use that simple word. The economy is actually suicidal. It's actually very dangerous because of the high cost of living now. Now you have 1 million and you're not paying yourself every month that, oh, now let me be paying myself a salary of 200,000 naira because 200,000 naira is not even enough. But on the average, you are paying yourself a salary of 200,000 naira. How long do you think it's going to take you for you to actually exhaust that money? And that money will fly away like a thief in the night. Do you know how many months? Just 5 months. Just 5 months. After 5 months, the 1 million naira is gone. I can bet you that money cannot even last to 5 months. Because why? By the time you take part of that money to buy one or two things, you are going to realize that money is not even going to be enough for you. And that's why investment is very, very good. But imagine you put that money into work. You actually invest that money and you are getting 240,000 naira every financial year. 240,000 naira every financial year. Now, in 10 years, you are going to make 2.4 million naira. 2.4 million naira. This is 2.4 million naira. Now, let's imagine that you save more than, you are actually invested more than that. Let's imagine that you have actually, after working so many years, you are actually being able to raise like 20 million naira. You were able to invest 20 million naira. Now, at the end of 10 years, you were able to raise 20 million naira. In the compound form, that 20 million naira will generate you 46 million naira, or let's say 44 million naira. Now, if you have 44 million naira in this present economic situation, you can, at the end of every financial month, you pay yourself salary. That is, you now take 10% of that money, which is 44 million, you will now pay yourself 4.4 million. That means that in every financial year, you only take away 4.4 million and divide it by 12 months. And that will get you the amount of money you are going to be paying yourself as a salary. So you don't need to work again. You don't need to stress yourself again because money is already working for you. And that's the way wealth actually works for those that have financial education and are actually investing their money. You win by buying and investing. That's the principle. You win by buying and investing. And what are we saying here? We're talking about a decade of sacrifice. We're talking about consistently building your wealth over and over again. Imagine if you can be able to invest money for 12 calendar months for the next 10 years. I can bet you that you don't need to work again because your money is actually going to compound. The fourth step is how to build the asset or the profit. How do you build the asset or the profit? You see, you can decide what to do with the profit you have earned from the company. That is, you cannot decide what you can actually do with the money they have actually earned as a compound interest or profit at the end of the day. You see, you can decide to number one, reinvest the money, which is what most people do. They will reinvest the money to make more money. Or you can also, save some part of this money and spend some part of this money. Or you can use that money to take care of yourself, going on vacation, enjoying yourself, those things that actually, when you're actually, saving the money and investing your money, that you have actually denied yourself. Because, investment is actually what I call the self denial. At that point in time, you cannot begin to enjoy those things back now. Because why? You have actually invested, and now your money is actually working for you. You can now be able to afford those things which ordinarily you have denied yourself. So becoming wealthy is self-denial, is consistency, is financial discipline. It's about knowing what you want, knowing where you are coming from, and knowing what you want to achieve at the end of the day. The last step, which I'm going to talk about in building real wealth, is what I call building wealth with your mindset. Building wealth is your mindset. So the next step to building wealth is actually your mindset. In most of my topics, in most of my videos, I've always talked about mindset. You see, your mindset is very, very cardinal. It's very important. It is indispensable. It is very, very important. And what is that your mindset? How does it affect your ability to build wealth? You see, mindset is very, very, very important in the sense that a lot of us, we have what we call this loser mindset. We have this loser mindset. We have the broke mindset. We have the negative mindset. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't dream big. We don't see an opportunity in situations that looks what impossible. Do you get it now? We don't see ourselves dreaming big. We always have this loser mindset. We always have this kind of mindset that we don't believe that you can do anything. You don't believe that you can be a champion. You don't believe that you can be an accomplisher. You don't believe that you can be wealthy. Whereas to actually become wealthy in life starts with a mindset, because it is an imagination. And I'm going to become somebody like this. I'm going to become somebody like this. And what do? You begin to work towards it in the actualization. You begin to work towards actualizing that thing which you want to actually become at the end of the day. So your mindset is very important. You need to change your mindset from the loser mindset, from the broke mindset, from the negative mindset, and begin to develop what I call the positive mindset. Because your negative mindset, your loser mindset, your broke mindset can actually hinder your growth, can actually serve as an obstacle, can actually serve as a barrier to accomplishing your goals, to accomplishing your objectives, to becoming rich or becoming wealthy in life. Most especially when your mindset is a loser mindset, is a broke mindset, is a negative mindset, is a mindset that is so stagnant, is a mindset that is not a growing mindset, but a static mindset, not a developing mindset, but a stagnant mindset. That's why your mindset today, you need to change your mindset. So you must focus on your mindset by reading self-development books, watching and listening to podcasts, and thinking bigger. I always tell people, do you think every day? A lot of us don't think. When you say you are thinking, I'm not talking about thinking suicide. I'm talking about thinking of what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, what's going to be your, miserable, what's going to be your end, what's going to be your, those negative perspectives and those negative forms of things. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about sitting down in a room all alone, and you begin to imagine some things. And as these positive imaginations are coming up, what do? You write them down, and you work towards actualizing those goals, those objectives, those ideas that are flowing into your head. I do this most of the times, and because of that, I've been able to develop a lot of business mindset, business ideas, and concepts, and big thinkings that can actually take him from the that particular position I am now to a bigger position in their life. And that is why you need to think and develop this positive mindset by yourself, by reading a lot of books on self-development, books that can actually edify you, that can build you up, that can motivate you, that can encourage you, that can push you, that can serve as a drive, that can push you to achieving your whims and caprices at the end of the day. Those books that can actually ginger you, that can encourage you, that can motivate you and push you out to achieving your goals. And the basic thing also, don't forget, is that you need to think big. Most of us, we think small, we think, like those tiny things. We think about, riding a bicycle, think about riding a motorcycle, you think about riding, a scooter. Why don't you think about seeing yourself in a plane? Why don't you think about seeing yourself in the most expensive kind of world? Why don't you think about seeing yourself in the midst of what all decision makers in the world? But rather we think about things that we're not supposed to be thinking about. And these things, they tend to weigh us down and bring us down at the end of the day. You must build your wealth in your mind before it can reflect in your bank account. You see, you need to build your wealth in your mindset, in your mind first, before it can actually reflect in your bank account. So what I was saying here is that you need to imagine yourself that you are wealthy. You need to imagine yourself that you are, wealthy, you are rich, you are well to do, you have all the money to yourself, and then from that period that you have been to imagine it from your mind, you cannot translate it into reality. And for you to be able to translate into reality, you have to work towards it and achieve it at the end of the day. So you must be willing to make some sacrifice. That is, like I said earlier, that becoming wealthy is actually a self denial. You're going to deny yourself a lot of things that can actually bring you down and weigh you down from accomplishing those things that you actually desire for yourself in their life. So in life, you have to make some sacrifices and avoid some certain nice things. What are those nice things? Going on vacation, endless vacations that cannot bring any money to your pocket. You're traveling from here to another place, from one vacation to another, buying expensive cars that can actually take all your money in maintaining those cars that you actually have. Some people have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars. For what? Why do you have 5, 6, 7, 8 cars, or even 2 cars? What are you doing with 2 cars or 3 cars? You don't need it. One car is enough. A car that you can actually be able to maintain, that can actually be able to sustain, that can actually be able to maintain at the end of the day, that do not drain a lot of money from your pocket. So you don't need to buy an expensive car that you want to be like as if you are rich and you want people to actually see that you're actually rich, whereas you're actually not rich. So you can go for a moderate car. So living an expensive apartment, 3-bedroom flat, 4-bedroom flat, for what? You don't need 3, 4-bedroom flats for what? You don't need it. Must you live in Ajah? Must you live in Lekki? Must you live in a very expensive area where you're paying millions of naira for house rent? That money you are using to pay for house rent, millions of naira that you can using to pay for house rent every year, you can use it to buy a land and build your own house. So of course are using 12 million, 15, 20 million to pay for house rent every year. You can actually use that money to invest and make more money for yourself. Remember the time you cannot move around again. Remember the time you are going to get old. Remember the time your bones are weak. Remember the time you are going to be, not having that strength again. Remember the time when you cannot move around again because you are not old. At that time, old age is very expensive. It's not very easy. And you see some people today, even when they are old, they are living well, they are living fantastically, they are living a healthy life, because the 4 pillars of wealth is what? Is your health, mental well-being, spiritual well-being, and financial well-being. When all these 4s are actually balanced, they can say you are actually wealthy. Do you see? You are actually wealthy. Are you wealthy? Are you wealthy mentally, physically, financially, and spiritually? Are you wealthy? Are you rich? I hope you have actually gained something from this topic. If you have actually gained something from this topic, please, it is time to subscribe. Share the videos to people out there, and don't forget to leave your comment on how I can serve you better.